Happy Friday, January 15th, 2021, and welcome to the 3 things I learned in SAS Sports Tech and Live events for a busy week to start off 2021. Number 1, the only thing I could give the man credit for was hiring me. I've read this in The Innovators, a good book by Walter Isaacson. It was an engineer who later became an entrepreneur, talking about the boss that he learned a lot of his lessons from. Very few people give credit for their success to the people who gave them the ability to learn the lessons that led them to that success. I only say this because I was no different. When I left News America, AEG, and StubHub, I certainly thought higher of myself than understanding how many of the lessons I had learned were on their dime. We've seen it 100 times when ex-coworkers or teammates or whoever else leave. It's actually, believe it or not, a great thing for your team to be empowered like that and to believe that as much. Just know that when you leave, you probably don't want to be that person, and eventually you will realize how much we've all learned from the people that were in front of us, especially at StubHub, AEG, and News America Marketing. That's number 1. Number 2, and kind of a gross one, only 30% of people floss every day. Flossing is cheap, it is easy, and it has ramifications that are very painful if you don't do it. In the words of Dr. K, my terrific dentist from around the corner, Tony, 1 out of 4 people actually floss. The rest of them floss vociferously for a couple of days before they come see us, and their gums are a bloody mess. If people don't floss, how do you think they view that job that they like but don't love? Siemens made some news a couple of weeks ago by releasing that they believe you should hire only people that you can trust, and if you can't trust them, then you have the wrong people. That denigrates a trillion-dollar talent industry that shows that it's very hard to find the right people. Some people can succeed under that, but by some, I'm thinking 3 out of 10 might actually be the right number based on our current experience. It's probably best that you have metrics in place that enable you to look at those metrics if somebody starts missing plan, or you have questions of whether they've been flossing. Oh, and one more thing, please floss. That's number 2. And finally, number 3, the most important this week, something we reference often, Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun is the dramatic principle that every element of the story needs to be necessary. So if you introduce a loaded rifle in Act 1, it needs to go off in Act 3. Why does this matter in leadership and business? When you're in a leadership role or you're in a big deal, everybody is looking with scrutiny on everything that you do. And they're going to read in on all of it because you don't have the ability to say which parts of what you're saying matter and which parts don't. Otherwise, people wouldn't tune into any of it. Ernest Hemingway very famously made fun of this in The Art of the Short Story. He introduced 2 characters early that never reappeared in the story. What do you think happened? The audience read into it. That's what happens with a leadership role and with big deals. Nearly anything you say is going to be read into. Just make sure to pay attention to Chekhov's gun. That's it for this week. We'll see everybody next week on The 3 Things.